Good morning, or very good morning to you, and welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. So those of you which are on the live version, if you can let us know if the audio is good, that would be absolutely fantastic. And what have we got in topic for what have we got in store for you this morning? Topic number 1 is your feedback. Topic number 2 is all she needed was 4 washers. Topic number 3 is yesterday's flying. Fantastic day's flying. Topic number 4, new foam for this week. Topic number 5 is clouds of vape, and that's a topic specifically aimed at Brad or somebody who might be still a smoker. And topic number 6 is what a show off. And brilliant, the audio looks like it's good. And obviously, if you're not watching the recorded version, you already know it's already good. Right, so let's get into topic number 1, which is your feedback. And actually, before we even go there, that was the sunrise yesterday morning over in Wiltshire. And a massive thank you to Andrew for letting me come over and join him yesterday. It was absolutely beautiful, and you can see the sunrise there. And it was absolutely stunning yesterday. We'll get to that very, very shortly. Stephen L. Morning, Matt. Steve from Hobby King. Good morning, Steve. Well, maybe, Steve. I had a choice of hats here this morning. And I had that one. It is rather cold here this morning, but I've got 2 hoodies on, so I'm going to have to put my normal one on, I'm afraid. There we go. It's absolutely freezing here. I've got 2 hoodies and a hat on, and I'm still, hugging around my mug here this morning. So good morning, Steve, as well. Right, so let's get into topic number 1, which is your feedback. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about here is, and down in the video description, I've put a link to this, is that I've put together a form just to gather your feedback and your thoughts on this YouTube channel. And they're all really straightforward questions. Now, there are a couple of responses which stood out. So, actually, there's a couple of things which have surprised me now. And there's over 70 of you which have been and responded to that questionnaire, and I would like to say to that 70 plus, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Now, if you haven't done that yet, there is a link to that in the video description for you. I would really, really value your feedback, because that does help kind of shape the future for the Rag the Nuts Off channel. Just looking, I've got some pretty pie charts, and I want to share because some of it's got personal information on it. So I'll give you a brief overview to the responses so far. So the biggest shocker for me right now, and I'm glad that I put this in as an option, is that most of you actually found this YouTube channel purely by accident. And almost 75% of you found it by accident or suggested video on YouTube. And that kind of goes into plan with kind of what my thinking was, because I don't go off and promote elsewhere, and when I've had mentions on other channels, which has been absolutely fantastic, it has helped with subscriber numbers, more of you to find me and what we're doing here at Rag the Nuts Off. But yeah, overwhelmingly it was a suggested video on YouTube, all just purely by accident, which goes along with my approach, which is 1 year flat out, let's see what happens. So the vast majority of you, over 88% of you, were members of the Facebook group. That actually kind of surprised me. I know a couple of you don't use Facebook, and of course that's perfectly fine. No hard feelings there at all. Now, there was one kind of in the second question, besides the Rag the Nuts Off, what is your second favourite YouTube channel? And there's a right mix in there. There's the channels which you would expect. Sir Bruce with RC model reviews and XJet. Flight Test appearing in there. Andrew Newton, Curry Kitten, and a collection of other Spotra 50 all turned up in there a couple of times too. And of course Elron as well. Now, also there was, we'll get onto another question in a moment. There's another big Canadian channel called AVE, A-V-E. If you haven't met AVE yet, which is short for Dave, I believe, he's an absolutely hilarious guy. I'm not into metalworking. I'm not into mechanical stuff, but I just love the way which he presents sometimes quite complex and tricky tasks and just makes a laugh out of them. And you can join him in his shop, and I just think it's a fantastic way of presenting. And I've tried to take like some of the good points and other things which I've seen and implement them here with you as well. And of course, we'll get to it, a shout out in a moment. So let me just scroll on down. There was an interesting reply. There was a question. One of the questions in the questionnaire for you is, if you were stuck on a desert island, what one model would you love to have with you? And there was lots and lots of sensible suggestions in there, like the Tundra and the FX61. But one of you, and I don't know who it was, wrote a big ass boat. Obviously, desert islands aren't your cup of tea. So that one did make me smile. Now, the other one is, how long have you been flying RC models? And again, that was really curious. Genuinely really, really curious. In fact, I can put this one on the screen because there's no details on this one. Let me just put this on the screen for you. That is the mix which we've got. So we'll start with the smallest one, which is I've just started for you. So that's about 10% of you have just been started. So what I'm actually going to say to that 10% of you, if you've only just been started, keep trying. It's not that hard. I've only been flying for a year, and I can tell you point blank that I've smashed up loads of models. Okay, it's just part and parcel. Don't get upset. Don't feel bad about stuffing a model. And I can tell you that, like, the more experienced of you here live this morning, they will tell you that they've stuffed a lot of models. And the thing is don't get upset about it. Just get your phone out of your pocket, take a photo, and laugh it off. Okay, it happens to us all. Okay, and that's one of the reasons I like doing the live stuff, because you see me stick it in hedges and things like that, because that's real. That's what happens on a flight line. Whether the outside world wants to know that, but between me and you, that is what actually happens. 20% of you, less than a year. Brilliant. You're kind of like pretty much in the same boat as me. And then we get like a 50-50 split on what's left between those of you which have been flying for 2 to 5 years and the rest of you which have been flying for more than 5 years. So what that tells me is that we've got quite a diverse audience here, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now, let me just scroll on down there. There was some feedback about the RC Coffee Chats. There's some pieces in there I don't want to share. Let me just scroll down. I was trying to get some like constructive feedback on the things which you dislike about the channel. And let me just scroll down. There was one comment I've passed on there, but basically the dislike piece was genuinely all really constructive. Somebody wrote in there questions like this one, and actually the feedback, it wasn't like just polish and they give Matt a pat on the back kind of territory. It was just generally just to get some feedback from you to see what I can do to help you in the future. Now, there was a suggestion of contacting Bruce for an RC Coffee Chat, which I think would be a fantastic idea. We do have an interviewee lined up for this week. Now, I'm not going to mention who they are until we actually sort that one out. Most of you may know of him, but he's got a fantastic story to share, and we'll hopefully that'll be this week as well. And there was some really fantastic constructive criticism. I'm actually gonna, where was the one which, I'm just gonna see, there was a slightly one on there. Maybe going a little bit more technical was like a common theme to make the channel a little bit better for you. That was a bit of feedback in there. Most of you have been and watched the live episodes, which frankly shocked me a little bit. They are very raw. They are me on the flight line with my muff or my little badger, just having fun on the flight line. The video quality is not fantastic. The audio quality is a little bit better now. The cameramanship on the camera on the iPad is not very good, but it's great fun. It's like a permanent record of some fun on the flight line, and I kind of like its rawness, you know. And I did something very much on purpose on the weekend. Is in the opening first 20 seconds I swore, and the reason why I did that is because I wanted to clear out the chaff, because you either kind of knew me and was going to be prepared for what was going on, or you weren't. So that was me running an experiment on the weekend. Kind of worked, actually. We got rid of a few subscribers, which is great because you need to watch the stuff which you're interested in. There's no point going watching little ballet dancers dancing around if you're not really into ballet, is it? You're either a lover or a hater. It's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? And just fantastic feedback all around. Now, I will go into some of those a little bit later, on another day. So my point here is that your feedback is absolutely fantastic. You can let me know some of your thoughts. I've put a little questionnaire together for you, and there's a link to that in the video description. And literally any feedback which you've got, there's an extra section at the bottom, and you can let me know, and I would really, really value your feedback. So with that said, let's move across to Shout Out Corner. This is my favourite section of the morning, and apologies, I haven't been keeping an eye on the chat yet this morning. So let me just scroll back up the top. So good morning, Anad, NL, good morning, Brad, good morning, Not Really Me, good morning, Turbo Tyler, good morning too. Scrolling down, Go2499, and do remember, if you are on the recorded version, you can say howdy, like Alan does most mornings, in the comment section underneath this video. Go2499, good morning, sir. Elijah, good morning. Elijah, sorry, my bad. Good morning. Ruds, I know that you're going to catch up with this one later, so have a fantastic, I hope you've had a fantastic day at work today. Scrolling down, there was a bit of chat there. Roddy, good morning. Joe, good morning. Olin, good morning. Shane, good morning. Phil, good morning as well. George, good morning. Scrolling down. Andy, good morning. Gordon, good morning. Stephen, good morning. Dav and Alistair, also good morning as well. Bill, good morning. Austin, let me just scroll down. Try not to miss anybody. Brian, good morning. Riff, almost missed you. Joe and Lauren, I think I may have mentioned you just in case I didn't. Good morning as well. Scrolling down. Bill, I saw your photographs in the Facebook group this morning. I have been and tagged the misses in them. Good lad. That makes me golden for a little bit longer on the number of models which we can have here. Odie Backer, good morning. Flies Banham, good morning as well. And Killer Dave, good morning too. And obviously, if I've been and missed your name, I do apologise. And it's not on purpose. I've just missed you in the list of names and the chat here this morning. And Henry, good morning too. I just saw your name appear down there at the bottom. And Steve from Hobby King on here this morning. Right, let's move on to topic number 2. In fact, I'm just going to go and get her again. Where is she? She's down here. So the Team Legit Twinsu, the feedback from the other day was that she just needed some washers. I've put some washers up behind the motor mounts, which you probably really won't see in the camera, but I've just put a single washer on the top of the motors, and that has made it an awful lot better in the sky. The Twinsu is actually, I didn't announce her correctly. The Twinsu is a very peculiar model, and those of you which saw the live version from yesterday, I think I've got it on here, and there's a link to it in the video description for you as well. The Twinsu is such a peculiar model because you can make it stop still in the sky. So you imagine you're flying across the sky, and I'm flying mine with way too much elevator. You can basically stall it in the sky because I got too much elevator. You can spin it and choose a new direction, push down on it, open up the 4 beams on it, and then go to wherever you want to go. And it goes there ridiculously quickly. So yesterday, it was the first time I've ever done any streamer chasing before. And the Twinsu was kind of like the perfect model because I was able to do that, and go chasing the Texumo around in the sky. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. We also had to have a good spank around with FPV. And yeah, so the Twinsu, absolutely loving it at the moment. I have changed the propellers. I bought some ball nose propellers, which that's what ball nose means, is that the end is flat. So it's got a ball nose. And what I've been done, do you remember those Eachine propellers, which we bought 1 million of them for $10? These have got like rounded edges and they're for efficiency, and that really did calm down the current draw on those motors. Remember, we did buy those motors off Hobby King for $10. Brilliant. They are the DYS SE2205 2300 kV motors. Absolutely corking little rippers of motors. They are absolutely fantastic. So that's why I went on and bought 5 of them, because they are that good. Well, actually I bought 3 of them because the other 2 are for Andrew, and he's going to most likely put them on the back of his traveller plane. 6x4 prop, brilliant combo, or 6x45 prop, 30 amp ESC, great for 3S, fantastic on 4S, you know. Great combo, and that's also the motor and prop combo which I was using on the micro Skyhunter, which we had the race with against the Skyfun. Now, obviously, we didn't beat the Skyfun, but we made the Skyfun sweat, and that's the powerhouse combination which I was using at the time. Great little motors, probably a little bit older now. There's probably some better ones out there, but for me, for $10, absolutely no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. And good morning, Jeff, as well. Just saw a new name pop up in there this morning. Right, so yeah, the Twinzo. Absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. And yesterday, I stuffed it in a hedge. We got loads and loads of streamer wraps around her right motor, and I tried landing it, and then I decided I thought it was going to go in the hedge, so I went on and aborted it. And then squirreled my way out of it really badly. Honestly, you'll see it on the video. I had about 3 meters to go. She managed to pull out of it, and I should have kept the power on, and I didn't, and we went in the top of the hedge. So it happens, you know, because it's EPP foam and we laminated it, and there's loads of carbon in it, it probably did more back damage to the hedge, and then we fished it out of the hedge. So I'm loving the Twinzo. At the moment, it's absolutely good fun. Oh, and the other thing is, because it's twin motors at the front, ridiculously fast, and also really kind of quiet compared to if you had twin motors like that on the back of a flying wing. It would be exceptionally noisy because of the disturbed air going over the top of the wing. But because they're on the front, really, really quiet considering. It makes a really nice hum in the sky as well. Let's have a quick look. Olin says, my PayPal is armed and ready. I'm itching to get the Bushmill. Yeah, got a great big lump. I'll be honest with you, Olin, not my cup of tea at all, but I understand why you like it. I know many of you on here have probably already got a Bushmill as well. Yeah, understand it, but not really my cup of tea, to be frankly honest. So let's move on to topic number 3 here this morning, which is yesterday's flying, which I've kind of got into already, which we were live on the Flightline yesterday, and it is raw footage from the Flightline. It's on an iPad. I have invested, and I don't know where my little badger is right now, in a separate microphone, which has improved the audio quality. Later in the day, it was kind of windy there, and the little fluffy bit, my little muff, was getting rid of the wind noise. That did work really, really, really well. Yeah, it would. Again, there was some feedback around the live versions about getting a cameraman or somebody to hold the camera and stuff like that. The reality is that those of us which are on the Flightline probably want to be stood there flying, you know, or at least preparing another model to go up and then enjoying the actual day. So that's probably unrealistic for me to do. I'm kind of happy with the complete rawness of it, and I do try and do my best to come back to the camera and get you involved in what's going on. And it is a learning experience. Like these RC coffee chats, which we're doing right now. What are we, 169 in now? I kind of know the format. You know the format. You kind of know what's going to go on. With the live from the Flightline, is that I'm still finding what works and what doesn't, and things and ways in which I can improve it. So maybe a better stand, for example, would work rather well. Maybe coming back to the camera and just like recapping what's going on would be a better idea for those who have been joined us part way through and things like that. So it is very much, I like to stress, very still much a learning. It's a format which I'm still very much learning with, the live from the Flightline, and there are things which we could definitely improve for sure. So I do really appreciate your feedback. Alistair's saying on there, let's have a quick. I was thinking of Matt's Twinzo getting gagged with streamer tape. Yeah, that was the first time I've ever chased streamers in the sky. We have to do that again. absolutely brilliant fun. Bloody hard, ridiculously hard to do. So let's have a quick look at that. Is that another Twinzo in the back? No, that is the, there we go, that is the Wombat right there. She is missing an FPV camera. She almost came with me yesterday, and I took a look at it and I thought, I've pulled out the run cam out the front, and I couldn't be bothered to stick it in there because I was up at 2:30 and it still felt like a rush to leave it at 5 o'clock. So I left it up there, so I could have taken the Wombat as well, but she's missing an FPV camera at the moment. Now, Andrew did post a video yesterday, last night, from yesterday's fly, and there is a link to that in the video description for you. I am just going to play the last few seconds now. We were chatting about this. There's lots of gates in their field where we can fly, and I was eyeing up. They always fly like as close as they can to the gate, and I was looking at the gate, and there's this big rectangular holes near the top, and I was looking at my little Hornet FPV wing, and I was thinking, I can get that through there. I reckon I can. I'm going to have a go. And so I did. Now, I'd like to stress, technically, I went through the hole. Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. Let me just go. Oh, that's a bit loud. Let me turn that down a bit. I think it's about here. Oh no, there's me running off to go and get it. No, oh, there. Did you see it? Right, can you see that? There I am, just there, and I'm looking up on the screen so you can see it. That was me having a go at the gate, and literally the hole was like that. It was just the size of a Hornet wing to squeeze through, and let me go, and there, technically I've gone through it. I reckon I went through that hole because we definitely did land on the opposite side, and unfortunately, while we were on the Flightline, it did make a very much of a ding noise from the Flightline, and unfortunately we then had black screen, and we swapped the cameras over, or took the video lead out and swapped them over to another model, and I have been and killed the Runcam Swift. So the twang noise was the Runcam Swift hitting the gate post. Oopsie daisy, and that absolutely screwed up what is an absolutely fantastic model for what was perfect flying conditions yesterday morning into the post. So I did get it on DVR footage, and like I said, I've got like over a month's worth of episodes for every single day here backed up of video footage, which when I get around to editing, will get up, and that will be one of them. And literally just went straight in. I thought I had a perfect line. We did get through it, but I obviously hit something on the way through because it just went ding and the screen went black, and I've actually been and killed the Runcam Swift, which is the ding of doom, Joe. Oopsie daisy, to say the least. Oopsie daisy. So we went up, we flew the clouds around, we did see that sunrise yesterday, absolutely gorgeous. I got some video footage of that. Like I said, we were flying from the Flightline. We also did some streamer chasing towards the end as well, something which I've never done myself, so I would like to say a massive big thank you to Andrew for allowing me to come over and join him on his Flightline. Absolutely beautiful day, and we had some fantastic fun on the Flightline, and there's nothing quite like starting off a live version when we've got a model in two pieces like we did on that one. So that is live from the Flightline, and we had really, really good fun, and those of you which are able to join in, thank you for joining as well. It's just like you just don't know what's going to happen next because it is as real as I can make it for you. Right, on to the next topic this morning is new foam this week. So I want to give you a heads up on some of the stuff which is likely to turn up or has already turned up here, to give you a heads up for what you're going to be seeing in the very imminent future or over this week. Number one, the Skywalker Sirius, that is on the way to me. I've checked the tracking number this morning, and it's still not updated, but fingers crossed it will be this week. It's a pusher combo. Don't want it's going to be like. It's $45, $47, you know. We'll find out what that one's like over the next week, I would say. The Flying Blade, absolutely loved that one yesterday, and many of you will have seen me stuffing that one in a hedge yesterday. It was kind of, well, I laughed it off, but again, kind of iterates the point. It flies really, really good, and I would be really upset if I absolutely total the model. So I do have a second one on the way to me at the moment. Again, it wasn't the $30, which I was thinking. It is $40, but it flies and tracks perfectly in the sky. Really, really do like that model, and I haven't flown it FPV yet, so we obviously got an FPV maiden to do on that one at some point. We also have, and again, I know this one is an older model like the Sirius as well. We've got the Skywalker Falcon on the way to us as well. Again, kind of a proven format. We'll see what we can do on that one. I get that. What was it last night? I was literally just about to fall asleep, and I saw Mark from Spectra 50. We're on a very, very old episode, and he put an EDF on the back, and it kind of did all right. And he also put some landing gear on the bottom as well. So yeah, kind of a proven airframe. We'll see what it's like. And again, most people haven't touched this one for years, so it would be curious to come back and look at a slightly older model and see what it's like, and see if it really is worth its $50 or so. The Cloud Raptor is also here as well. I do have, I love the print on this model, but I do have a little bit of a reservation on this one on the stiffness of the airframe, and also there's different densities of EPP foam. Generally speaking, something like a Team Legit Twinsu, this is rock solid. It's really, really dense EPP foam. The foam which is used in the Cloud Raptor is it's once you've felt a couple of different bits of foam, which sounds really wrong, but once you've felt different types of foam, you can tell the low density stuff off very, very quickly, and the foam which is being used in that wing is very soft. It's very you can depress it very, very easily, so it's a much less dense foam which they've been used in that model. But then that said, they have been wrapped it with like a polythene wrap around the outside, and I've been and put a layer of laminate on it on top, so that one is very much an unknown right now. Yeah, very, very curious. And also this week, the Micro Skyhunter. Now, those of you with the Micro Skyhunter, remember you can buy the parts cheaper than buying the kit as a whole. Okay, obviously if you want the plug and play kit, which you know from most of the time I don't suggest getting the plug and fly kits, because if you buy the parts or buy the bare bones of the model, you get maximum flexibility over the parts which you put in a model. That said, there's obviously combinations like a Tundra, for example, or the EF Extra, where it's plug and fly, it comes with an ESC in the motor. Circumstances like that are just a no-brainer. Just go with a plug and fly kit and go that approach. Then that's kind of like perfect. Or maybe if you're maybe a little bit more inexperienced, well, less well seasoned is probably a better way of explaining it, then plug and fly kits are great. But something like the little Micro Skyhunter, fantastic little model, and I will do my best this week to get that one up in one of the best models which you can buy for $50 or less. And I've got her here. She has been laminated. We got a tiny little bit of wiring to do on it, and I'll be setting that one up as back like the original one. So I've got a spare DYS SE2205 motor. We'll be sticking that one on the back. As many of you know, I've absolutely loved that little model. Good morning, Kev, as well. So have a quick look. I'm trying to keep an eye on your chat. Hey Matt, I just added 9 carbon fiber rods to my DW1000 wing. If I'm thinking I did a proper Matt Ogborn job at 13 in total. Now, most of you know that I do love sticking carbon in models. As far as I'm personally concerned, you can never have enough carbon in a model. So that's the little Flying Blade. You'll see that I've put carbon rods down the nose, either side. They do cross at the end, and also some carbon rods at the bottom. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it makes, stick that over there, it makes the model an awful lot more rigid, and it's very simple to do. Literally, get a ruler or use the rod which you're going to be putting in. Sharp craft knife all the way down, stuff some glue in the hole, stick it in, maybe use some craft pins to hold it still, and it does take a couple of minutes extra. Realistically, 15 minutes, 20 minutes extra in a build, but it does make the model an awful lot more robust. So you've seen me do that a lot, and those carbon fiber rods are super cheap. You can buy like 5 of them for like $3-4, you know, absolutely brilliant. So anyway, that's the that's the phone which we're expecting to see here this week, or over this week. And oh, there is one other little one. Remember that little plane which we had? I built it. Let me just put this on the screen for you. I can't remember which one this was called, but it's a little. They've marked it. It's a SuperEZ trainer. I do have some reservations about this one already, and I think you will see my first reservation, which is just there. That's not a lot of meat on there, so you get a nose in on a special landing, and that's going to shatter to a million pieces. So I am going to reinforce that. Yeah, I do have a couple of reservations on that one. So, but as always, we hold off final verdict until we get a model in the sky, because it might fly absolutely fantastically well. It could be an absolute POS. We don't know, but we do know what happens to bad models. Bad models go in cement mixers with petrol and fireworks and flames. So that's where bad models go to die if they are bad. Like, unfortunately, the Decathlon Scout. That was an awful little model. And it wasn't from lack of trying, I hasten to add. I tried 3 times to fly that little thing, even with it being grossly nose heavy, and it would just tip stall on you. So I've been threatening it for ages, and then because Sir Bruce came in and looked like he almost got that mini Talon flying with pulse jet on it, I thought it was about time me actually did it as well. And yeah, it went in the cement mixer. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, look up Burn Baby Burn on my YouTube channel, and the Decathlon Scout and that Thunderbird, the F Flight Test Sparrow. And unfortunately, sorry if you like balsa, they also get shoved in the cement mixer as well with I am going to admit slightly too much petrol was put in the cement mixer. I will know for next time not to put that much in. Oops a daisy. And yes, John the Builder did turn up and absolutely laughed his tits off for me for the state of the cement mix. And it wasn't his, it was mine as well. Right. Let's have a quick look. Oh, George, thank you for the feedback. By the way, if anybody does have any feedback on the models which we were just chatting about here this morning, so maybe you've had a Sirius, maybe you've had the Skywalker Falcon, please do let me know in the Faceballs group, because George just been put there in the chat. Hi, Matt. The Falcon needs a ton of extra carbon in the wings for the flutter. Also, speed stalls. Let me just scroll back up a second. Also, speed, as the stalls are bad, but by far a great model. Right, so stuff extra carbon in it, and maybe make some of those, I've forgotten the terms of them. I remember that you put little blades at 15 degrees to the angle on the front, so that you disrupt the air which is going over the top of the airfoil, so it decreases its stall speed. And I've forgotten what it's called now. And I'll think tiny little winglets. I'm sure one of you will remember or let me know in the chat what it's called. And I've forgotten what it's called now. They're just little fins you put on the leading edge of the wing. The Optera has been and got them on there as well. It slows them down. Vortex generator. Thank you, Lauren. There was me struggling for a few seconds. Maybe we should knock up a couple of those canards. Yeah, I'll stick some make up some just out of some ID card, plastic gift card stuff, and I'll lay it on the desk, make sure we get the angles right, and then you do it at 15 degrees. I can't remember which way off the top of my head, and it disrupts the air, and then you get more airflow over the top of the airfoil, and it reduces the stall speed and gives you more authority at slower speeds. There are some other there are some positives and there's some negatives, and I'm not an expert, so I'm shutting up now. On that topic, just look on YouTube. There's a guy on there which has done it really, really well. Right, the last but one topic here this morning is actually a topic which we were chatting about first thing this morning. This is for Brad, and it's got nothing to do with RC flying, but I'm sure you're going to appreciate why I'm bringing this one up. Brad, I'm guessing you're a smoker. I used to be an ex-smoker myself as well, and I'm sure many of you have seen me vaping on the Flightline, so if you're not a smoker, this bit's going to be rather boring for you, but I'm sure you can appreciate the seriousness of it. Now, Brad, for me personally speaking, just to you, and obviously if you're a smoker as well, I know it's really hard to give up, okay? But I can tell you now, personally speaking, I can't remember when I gave up. It's over a year ago, probably more. Genuinely don't know. Genuinely also don't care either. And I took up vaping instead. Now, the one thing which you need to be aware of is these little small pens, I'm sure you've seen them, they work, okay? But you'll soon get bored of them, okay? Or if your goal is to give up completely, they'll be fine, okay? For me, I kind of like to enjoyed vaping like from the beginning, and what you have is just basically a big scam or con going on. Is that what will happen if you've got a vaping store near you? You'll start off on a small little pen, and then you'll slowly work up to a bigger one, and then a bigger one, and you'll go through this long upgrade path. So to save you some money, and it'll cost you some money to begin with, okay, but you will save longer term, is basically go for the biggest battery mod as you can. So I believe this is a Relux RX 200. I actually bought this for 20 quid off my builder, and it takes 3 great big 18650 batteries. Okay, so in short, more batteries the better. 3 is quite a good handful in there. 2's fine. I also started with a smock mod at the bottom. When it comes to the tanks on the top, UL is the most popular mod here in the United Kingdom. You can get the coils inside pretty much anywhere here in Bristolia or here in the United Kingdom. They are a very popular one. So as far as the mod goes, go to a couple of different vape shops and see what coils they've got available, and then do go for a bigger tank. Now also, to let you know, like from the beginning, those of you which don't vape or never smoked or don't want to quit, that may also be an option for you as well, is if you are going to vape, for the first couple of days, you are going to cough your face out, okay? That is perfectly natural, but do keep, and again, I'm not a medical expert or anything like that, but do keep in the back of your mind, anything is got to be better than smoking, okay? Anything is got to be better than smoking. The amount of crap which is in that smoke is just really not good for you at all. When it comes to what goes in the liquids for these, basically you've got 2 types of liquid and some flavouring. You've got the stuff which is in the asthma inhalers, and then it's VG and PG. I've forgotten the actual mixtures. It's about 70-30 normal mix, and you've got the normal stuff which goes in the asthma inhalers. The other 30% is the carrier liquid, which they use in the other asthma inhalers for the people who are allergic to the normal stuff, okay? So yeah, I feel an absolute million times better. A little tip for you as well. Here's some H, my partner, she used to smoke as well. She absolutely used to hate menthol fags, but now she's got some menthol liquid. She likes the extra hit in the back of her throat. To be honest, I don't like tobacco tasting liquids, so I have gone off topic from RC stuff, but to save an RC pilot, I'm sure you're going to allow me that indulgence on there. So Brad, just to quickly summarize my tips for vaping: get a big tank, okay? First 3 days, it will be rough, okay? Buy a collection of different fluids. You can buy premium fluids like these. These are about £18 here in the United Kingdom. You can also find suppliers or people who make them themselves. Basically, this is the expensive stuff is the same as the cheaper stuff, 70-30 with some flavouring. The only real difference between these two is the premium stuff may have been stooped or basically left may have been left for several months to mature in flavour, whereas something like this is going to be very virgin in flavour, okay? But don't worry about that for now. Get a couple of the different ones on these, get a variety of different flavours, and just try them out, okay? And those of you which have got no interest in vaping, I'm sure you can appreciate where I've just come from there, just to help Brad out, is that I personally feel a million times better. I could go and run around the flying field, you know, and I wouldn't be like grossly out of breath. I wouldn't be coughing my guts up and things like that. And I can tell you that I feel a million times better. So Brad, I hope that has been and helped you as well. Yes, Alistair, fresh air is way better, Okay, now I understand it's a bit of a controversial topic, smoking and vaping and things like that, but I feel it's worth bringing that up because if it helps another fellow pilot, that's happy days, in short. And just looking on the back on there, yeah, I make my own liquids, yeah, absolutely. It keeps the cost down, okay, and it's got to be better than fags. Anything's got to be better than fags as well, cigarettes. Right, and then the last topic for this morning, getting ourselves firmly back into the realm of RC. Now, this is Nathan Knight. Nathan's been around here on the YouTube channel probably from the very beginning as well. Now, Nathan is a bit of a show-off. I have his video up here on the screen. Now, I do need to turn the audio down a touch. And check this out for a landing. Wait for it. Look at that for a landing. Well done, Nathan. You couldn't do that again if you tried. Well done. And of course, those are all of you who've been and posted photographs from the weekend in the Facebook group. Absolutely brilliant weekend. I know I had a great weekend flying, which kind of like started on Friday because we had a live session from the Flightline there as well. If you've been out flying this weekend, I hope you had half as much as fun as what I did because I had an absolutely fantastic weekend. And if you did have an unscheduled landing, maybe like that, or we got it in a hedge or something like that, get the photos in the Facebook group, you know, just laugh it off. It's foam, you know, it's not the end of the world. So just quickly looking at your chat in there. And Ref says, I quit using e-cigarettes. Yes, absolutely. I don't have any plans to give up vaping anytime soon. One day I will just snap and decide that's it, I've had enough, and then give up. It's kind of like the same which happened when I gave up fags. It's like I've had enough. It's all psychological. So Riff, let's not even go there on that subject because it is definitely possible. Not something which they're not my cup of tea. Right. Anyway, to summarise today's RC coffee chat. Number one was your feedback. So if you haven't been and filled out the very simple questionnaire, I would really appreciate your feedback. So on how to get your thoughts and your feelings on how I can make this channel better for you. There's a link to that in the video description underneath this episode for you. Topic number two was all she needed was 4 washers, and that was the Twinsu. Yeah, very, very cool model. Like I said, I've got too much elevator on the Twinsu. And you can literally just make it stall, hang it, twist it, and then go whoomp off in another direction. Very surreal flying characteristics. Very, very cool. In fact, I know the Twinzo is actually meant for FPV, but I'll be honest with you, I'm enjoying it just as much line of sight as what I am FPV. Now that sounds really strange, just because you can do such weird shit with it. It is very, very peculiar. So we'll be seeing more of that one in the future. And I've got some onboard footage and some FPV and some. I think I've got some DVR footage of it as well. Brilliant, brilliant model. The only thing which I need to do is make a little bit more space in the fuselage so I can put a battery alarm in there because I will fly it hard and I've had it drop out of the sky twice before where I've run out of juice in the battery. Oops-a-daisy. Then we had yesterday's flying, which was live from the Flightline with my little muff. Which kind of works kind of well. We had some streaming on there. We had some unscheduled landings. We had some foam snow. Typical day on the Flightline, you know. And also, I've put a link to Andrew's episode in the video description for you as well, and you can see the field which we were flying in. Andrew shot with just as many gaps as what I did. I did fail a few times, which I think I got on camera, but we'll see when we go back and review it. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, and it was also my first time with streamers as well, which we could kind of see from the Flightline. Visually, absolutely fantastic in the sky. Now, there was only 2 of us flying around, so you can imagine what would be like 4 or 5 of us flying around in the sky. That was very, very cool indeed. Number 4, we had a look at the foam, which is either arrived or arriving this week. Now, there is no heads ups yet. Apparently, it's May, I think, for the Sidewinder from Hobby King. I'm really looking forward to one of those, and I know Kev kind of checks it every single day to see if it's in stock or not. I'm really looking forward to the launch of that one, so we'll get that one as soon as that comes in as well. But again, we just gone through to give you a heads up of kind of some of the models which are going to be turning up here over the next week, and you're going to be seeing more of in over the next, say, 7 days or so. We had that question from Brad, which I wanted just to tackle head on, and I hope that helps Brad or anybody else as well. And then topic number 6 was what a show off Nathan, with his special flip landing as well. 10 out of 10, sir. Absolutely fantastic. Well, no, I'm going to give you 9 out of 10 because you've left your, lid off the wing ring on the ground. So would have been a 10 if we still had the lid attached. You know, you've got to be fair. So on that note, it's time for me to wrap up. Let me just scroll down in the chat. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, just looking at your chat right now. Set up the twins with differential thrust and mid-stick off so you can fly it backwards. Yeah, those AESTs which I got, they're not reversible. That would be crazy. Imagine if you get a flight across the sky, ram it in reverse, and then stop the model dead, and then try and shoot backwards. That would be quite a sight in the sky. So let's have a quick look. Oh, right, Kev, not anymore. Giving up looking, going to take the EF Extra out for an airing instead. Joe says, Joe, looks like you're a new name here. Good morning. So Joe says, Matt, have you got a micro vector or are you going to get one? Now, Joe, the honest answer here is no, I'm not. And the reason why I'm not going to get a micro vector is because the full size vector for me as a aeroplane or fixed wing pilot is perfectly acceptable. Also, it's pretty much the same price, if not a little bit cheaper, once you include all the sensors and things like that. The micro vector was more aimed at quad pilots, in short. Now, if you're flying fixed wing, whether that be like a normal flying model, whether it be a flying wing, the normal Eagle Tree, the original Eagle Tree Vector, is perfectly fine. And if I was going to buy another one, it would not be an Eagle Tree Vector Mini or Micro Vector, because the original ones are fine. So, Joe, I hope that helps you. I wouldn't buy one myself. I would stay with the original one. It's just that good, if that makes sense. So, with that said, it is time for me to wrap up. If you are out flying today, have a fantastic day's flying. No flying for me here today. Work all the way. And if you're out flying, stick a battery in for me. And on that note, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for joining me here for today's. Is it warm? Is it cold? It's cold. For today's RC Coffee Chat. And on that note, for myself, Matt, cheerios!